Hello, ghosties. You're listening to Not My Ghost.
Not my problem. I'm Kelly.
And I'm Jen.
Whether you're a skeptic, a true believer, or somewhere in between, join us for a journey into the unknown.
Because remember, when it comes to the paranormal, it may not be our problem,
but it's certainly someone's problem.
You all are officially listening to Not My Ghost, Not My Problem.
That's right. We have a lot of problems over on our end.
A lot of problems going on. We don't even know where to start with all the problems we're having.
It's a struggle.
It is. The struggle is real. If you all remember from last week's episode when we told you about Not My Ghost Problem t-shirt mishap, if you don't, go listen to last week's episode, we made another mistake on a t-shirt that we sold because we're idiots.
We are.
And the problem was, if you cannot guess it yet, that we spelled problem with 2 E's.
We didn't.
I did. I mean,
I'm not blaming it on you. You had to put your image in something that then fucked up the spelling. And it did.
So here's the story, and this is what I'm sticking with, guys. Because it takes a little bit of the blame off of me for being an idiot. I took the image and I made it in Canva, but the image in Canva was black. And I wanted the image to be white, and I wanted the background to be removed. And if anyone has worked with Canva, sometimes when you press that little background removal button, it removes the background very nicely. And other times you press it, and it's like, what the fuck was that? Like, it barely does anything. So it barely did anything. And again, I also wanted it to be white because I wanted to put it on black t-shirts. So I threw it into ChatGPT and said, hey, take this image, remove the background, and make it white. And it did, and it looked great. Or so I thought.
And she sent it to me for my approval, and I said, looks great.
And we stuck it on some t-shirts, and Kelly and I both ordered t-shirts.
We did.
One of my friends ordered a coffee mug, and one of our patrons, Jendi, ordered a t-shirt.
Really, it's Jendi's fault, I think.
It is Jendi's fault. We're blaming her because she wished it into existence.
She did.
Because we had, the night I discovered it, because I was looking at the stickers that I ordered to send out to our patrons, because they get a sticker if you are a part of the $10 tier. And I was looking at the sticker that we had just gotten, and I stuck it on my Stanley cup, and I was filling up the water, and that's when I saw it said problem. Well, earlier that night, we had our Patreon live that we do once a month. So if you want to come talk to us live, go join our Patreon. And we were talking about the Not My Ghost Problem t-shirt mishap. And Katrona, our one patron, had ordered one of those shirts. And we sent her a brand new one once we fixed the design. So she has the corrected design. We kind of joked and said, when we're famous podcasters, these shirts will be worth a lot of money.
Yeah.
And Jendi was like, well, I'm jealous because now I want a messed up t-shirt. And it took about an hour, and when we realized she had a messed up t-shirt. So we think that there was a glitch in the matrix, and I didn't actually spell it wrong, but Jendi kind of helped glitch the matrix, a small Mandela effect, something like that happened.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's what that makes the most sense. It's only logical.
Only logical.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, welcome to our scripted, unscripted banter on this very special episode.
It is very special.
This is our 1-year anniversary special.
A whole year.
1 whole year, guys.
Every week.
Every week. We haven't missed a week.
Nope.
We did it, guys. We're here. We're at our 1 year. Thanks for hanging out. If you're new, welcome. If you are listening to this and it's 2 years from now, welcome.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming back and listening to the OG episodes. We're just really excited to be here.
We are.
Yeah.
We have a lot of fun.
We do. And I do have a question for you today, Kelly.
Okay.
What is your favorite part about making this podcast?
You.
Me. That's my answer too.
Oh, aren't
And
we sweet?
I mean you, not me.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm my favorite part too.
I'm my favorite part of the podcast. No. Yeah, it's you. It's getting to spend all this extra time with you, and despite the fact that we live far, far away, I say far away, it's not that
It's
far,
not
but
that
seems like
far.
it seems far. I love that we get to still see each other at least once a week, sometimes multiple times a week, and we're always texting and FaceTiming, and, I think this has just helped keep our friendship strong.
It has. It has, because it's real easy to get caught up in the day-to-day life,
Yeah.
and we set ourselves up a situation where we have no choice but to talk to each other.
Exactly. Even if we don't want to, which we always do.
We always do, yeah.
We have to.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I agree. And my next favorite part about the podcast is all of our fans, and by all of them, I mean all, like, 7 of them.
Right.
But they are great. Our patrons are amazing, and I love getting to chat with them and do our lives and have our Discord where we just shoot the shit every day, and I love this small little community that we're building, and just can't wait to see it grow and get even bigger and
Yep.
better and more spooky.
Ooh, more spooky sounds good.
More spooky. I love more spooky.
Me too.
Well, are you just ready to dive right in?
Sure.
Okay. So today's episode is going to be a little bit different. We are going to take a ride through the weird and the lesser known and downright bizarre corners of the paranormal world. We're diving into quick fire stories, strange hauntings, mysterious time slips, cursed objects, cryptid encounters, and more that you probably haven't heard of. These aren't your average haunted house tales. We're talking about monks in black robes, disappearing travelers from other dimensions, ghost blimps, and killer phone numbers.
Ghost blimps.
Uh-huh. Think of this as your paranormal sample platter. Bite-sized creepy stories to keep you up at night and even spark a few rabbit holes of your own. So grab your flashlight, your curiosity, and a snack. You're going to want something to chew on while these stories sink in.
Jen,
Yes.
I didn't grab a snack.
Damn it. I don't have a snack either.
That's okay. We can't be chewing while we're recording anyway.
We can't.
Nobody
snack
wants to hear that.
No. So I do have a couple of random facts about our podcast.
Okay.
We have released 53 episodes in 1 year. So we have haunted your earbuds a total of 53 times. That is 53 spooky stories, creepy facts, actually more than 53 creepy facts because we have more than one in each episode, and a lot of chilling mysteries that we have all uncovered together.
We have. We've actually recorded more than 53 because we have bonus episodes for our patrons.
Yes, absolutely. That's true.
But for the general audience,
yes,
there's 53.
Yeah.
53 episodes.
Yeah, we do one bonus episode a month. I don't think we started that right away, so I don't think there's 12 of them total.
No,
yet.
I don't think it was right away. Well,
Yeah,
we didn't have any patrons.
We didn't. We did. It took a little bit.
Yeah.
Not that long. We had our first 3 patrons within like a month. Maybe a month and a half.
I didn't know. I didn't remember when we got them all.
We did.
They're the best show.
They are the best. We have also had our fair share of spooky technical mishaps, from haunted microphones to audio glitches, and some episodes were nearly lost due to these phantom problems. But we've always managed to fight off the gremlins and get them to you, eventually.
When you said audio glitches, your microphone sounded like you were a robot.
Did it really?
It did. I don't know if it'll transfer into the recording, but
I hope it does.
Yeah, some of these episodes, the Black Eyed Kids episode almost did not happen.
Almost didn't. That's the only one we've ever had to record 3 times.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first 2 times we recorded it, we had weird audio issues where we just didn't sound right. And then the third time I was like, if this doesn't record, then we're just scrapping this.
It was particularly great because that's the episode that scared you the most.
Exactly. It didn't help, but that's like my fear. And it's like, nope, they didn't want us to talk about them.
Yeah,
So we waited a couple months and then we tried again.
that we did.
And our first episode that we released was actually a ghost story of its own. The first time we recorded, we experienced a strange, eerie technical failure. It most definitely wasn't user error. But after we finished recording, the audio just completely disappeared.
It did.
It did. And I definitely think it was a ghost that was just trying to keep us from sharing their story.
Obviously.
Of course.
The first
It
episode
wasn't.
was on Ghost of Baltimore, right?
Yeah.
And
Haunted Fells Point.
I live in Maryland, so
Exactly.
they were like, "Nah, you're not telling
Yeah.
these stories."
No. And it definitely wasn't user error because I
No,
had no idea what I was doing.
no, not at all.
No, of
You're
course not.
very tech savvy. You know what you're doing.
Exactly. Before we dive into the bite-sized stories that we're gonna get to, I do have something fun that I did. I was kinda just trying to come up with some ideas, and I was brainstorming with ChatGPT, as one does, because as Dakota says, "If you're not using AI, you're behind."
Correct.
Exactly. So I was kinda just brainstorming with ChatGPT, and it came up with the idea of doing a haunted house tour based off of our podcast. And I thought that sounded fascinating. So I asked ChatGPT to do just that. And here we go.
All right.
Today, for our first anniversary special, we're bringing you something extra haunted. Imagine this: not my ghost, not my problem, as a haunted house. And you are the brave soul to step through its creaky doors.
Mm.
As you venture deeper into the darkness, every room you pass through is a twisted reflection of our most haunted, hilarious, and downright bizarre moments. We lead you through every paranormal corner of our podcast past, each room more cursed than the last. So lock the door behind you and don't look back. The spirits of Not My Ghost, Not My Problem are waiting, and we're about to dive headfirst into our very own haunted mansion. When we first enter the house, we have the Lounge of Unfinished Thoughts. Sounds like a great place.
It does. I
So
spend
this,
a lot of time there.
yeah, me too. So this is a cozy room filled with couches that you can't sit on because they vanish mid-sentence. Just like when one of us forgets what we were saying halfway through a story.
Yeah. Happens a lot.
Yeah, it does happen a lot. You also will hear eerie whispers like, wait, what am I saying again? And, oh my God, I lost it. As we leave the Lounge of Unfinished Thoughts, we enter into the Haunted Happy Hour. This is a bar where the drinks are cursed. After one sip, you're drunk like Kelly after a half a glass of wine.
True story.
The walls shift, and you have to slur your way through a maze to get out.
That sounds fun.
It does sound fun. I like
Yeah.
that. You save a lot of money on wine.
You're not kidding.
Drunk after one sip.
Yeah.
And then out back, we have the Ghost Dog Park. Now, this is a misty field full of ghost dogs barking and playing fetch with invisible balls. Some dogs are sweet, but others are trying to lead you into the creepy woods.
Boogie has to be there.
Boogie is definitely there.
Yeah.
For sure. He's the leader of the pack.
He is.
He's the sweet one, not the one trying to lure you into the
No.
wood. Of course not.
He wouldn't do that.
No. Then back in the house, we have the podcast control room. Now, this is a very chaotic room with broken microphones, tangled cords, and haunted audio glitches. Soundboards keep playing random outtakes of Jen and Kelly mispronouncing words.
And we mispronounce a lot.
So many words.
And they are words that we both know how to say.
They are. That does happen a lot.
It happens a lot. And we both know how to say it. And we'll go, "Wait a minute, how do we say this word again?" And we'll be saying it to each other, and then we go to put it in the podcast and we don't get it.
We don't have it.
I don't know what it is about it.
Philanthropist.
Yeah.
Philanthropist. I can say it this week.
Yep.
Ah. Then there is the mystery hallway. Now, this is a dimly lit corridor that twists and turns like an unsolved case. The walls are covered in fog, and every shadow seems to hold an unanswered question. You hear a faint voice asking, "How many doors were in that basement?" And what material was the floor made of? But you can never be
You
sure.
can never be sure.
Then there is the cursed prop room. Now, this is a room filled with odd, haunted relics from our show's past episodes. Some props move on their own, while others hum with strange energy. It is said that if you touch them, you might find yourself cursed with more spooky episodes, whether you want them or not.
Ooh, I like that one.
Me too. I want more spooky episodes. Then there is the Trivia Tower. Now, this is a towering spiral staircase lined with eerie walls of shifting facts and figures. Every step you take brings you closer to a new set of trivia, some spine-chilling, some hilarious, and all guaranteed to leave you questioning reality. The walls are covered in facts that almost make sense, but leave you wondering, wait, is that true? Then there is the haunted banter chamber. This is a flickering candlelit room where the air is filled with echoes of conversations that never quite make sense.
There's a lot of those.
A lot of those. The walls are lined with carefully scripted notes, but they crumble to dust every time someone dares to read them. I love how accurate this is.
Yeah, it is very accurate.
Very accurate. Then there is the ADHD tangent tunnel.
We spend a lot of time in this tunnel.
A lot of time in the tangent tunnel. This is a spiraling, dizzy corridor where the walls stretch and bend in all directions. Each twist and turn leads you down another bizarre, unrelated tangent. You think you're heading towards the end of the hall, only to stumble on a new room full of even weirder facts and thoughts.
Happens all the time.
Voices echo in the distance. Wait, wasn't there something about UFOs here? And, oh, that reminds me of the time we got lost in a fog. Or was it a swamp? The path is endless, and just like ADHD, it's impossible to stay focused for too long.
I like that one.
Me too. We're there a lot. Then there is the Paranormal Postcard Parlor. This is a dimly lit, dusty parlor where the walls are covered in postcards from all over the world, each one more chilling than the last. Every time you approach one, it whispers in your ear, "Send us your stories, or else."
Katie.
Katie.
Send the stories, Katie.
Or else.
Katie is a very dear friend of mine, so I get to yell at her on the podcast because she knows I love her.
Yeah. Then this is probably my favorite room, Kelly.
Okay.
I may have cried a little when I read this one because I was laughing so hard.
Okay. It's happy cries.
Happy crying, yeah. This is the room of interruptions.
Oh, God.
A cold, shadowy room where the air crackles with energy and Jen's voice. The second you try to say something, a loud boom interrupts as Jen's voice leaps in to finish your sentence or to start a new one.
It's very accurate. This is a very accurate room.
Every time Kelly tries to speak, the walls seem to reverberate with Jen's enthusiasm. Wait, I have something to add. The room is a whirlwind of half-formed thoughts, jumping from one idea to the next, until you both are laughing so hard you forgot what you were arguing about in the first place.
Yes.
Yeah, that one was great.
That goes along with the questions about the basements.
Yeah.
Those rooms were connected.
They were very connected.
Mm-hmm.
Then there is the exit that isn't. You think you finally found the way out, but surprise! It's just the start of another episode. A ghostly recording plays. New episodes drop Wednesday. That's my evil laugh. You're trapped forever in podcast purgatory.
Sorry about that, but well, we're not really sorry.
We're not sorry. You choose to be here.
Yeah,
Yeah. So that was the haunted house based on our podcast. Would you all visit? Let us know in the comments.
please.
And if you say no, I might cry. So please say yes.
Only respond if you're gonna say yes.
Yeah. If you're going to say no, then just fuck off. Don't be mean. Actually, we keep joking that we're waiting for our first like bad review so we can make fun of it and read it on the podcast.
The more we get, like, if just rude thing, because it's the internet, so people are
Yeah.
gonna start saying rude stuff. We might just add a whole segment to the episodes.
Where we just read random rude comments we
Yeah.
get from people. 'Cause that'll be fun. Because that's the only way that I can get through it is to make fun of it. Because otherwise I'm gonna cry in a corner if you guys are
Well,
mean
so
to me.
far, it's just a bunch of people saying we're from the devil and
Oh, yeah,
witches
yeah.
and.
We get that when we, like, boost our post to help advertise on, like, social media. We'll get, like, "This is the devil," or, like, Bible quotes and
My
things like that.
favorite is when they're like, "Another grift to get your money," and it's like, the episodes are free.
The episodes are free. There's no money. You're not paying us except unless you go join our Patreon,
Right,
which you
and that's your
can.
choice.
That's your choice. You're just missing out on some amazing fun bonus episodes that we
You
give
are.
you once a month and some other cool perks. And a sticker eventually that will say the right phrase.
We have how many stickers do we have?
So we had 25 of the wrong stickers, and I ordered 25 of the right stickers.
Well, when we get more patrons, maybe we can slip a wrong sticker in some of them when we ship
The right
the
sticker.
right sticker. Yeah.
Yes. Our original OG4 are gonna get the wrong sticker as well as the right sticker
Right.
because they deserve it. But then after that, we still have more. So it depends on when you join. If you guys go join soon, you might still get a wrong sticker.
Yep.
So you do have to be on the $10 tier though to get a sticker.
Yeah.
Okay, are we ready to dive right in? Do you want to go first? Or do you want me to go
Sure.
first?
I can go first.
Okay.
So we're going to talk about the Enfield Horror. This was in 1973 in Illinois.
Ooh.
What has 3 legs, pink eyes, claws like a T-Rex, and hops like a kangaroo? The tiny town of Enfield, Illinois, might still be asking.
I don't know, but that sounds amazing.
It's a lot going on.
I'm trying to picture that. I should put that into ChatGPT and ask it to make an image
Definitely.
for sure.
Yeah.
Just like our gas can with legs.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was great.
I laughed so hard when I made that gas can with legs image. On the night of April 25th, 1973, Henry McDaniel heard a scratching at his front door. Thinking it was an animal, he opened the door, only to come face to face with something absolutely bizarre. It had 3 legs, a short body, 2 little short arms coming out of its chest area, and 2 pink eyes as big as flashlights, McDaniel later told the media. He fired his gun at the creature. I like that he just had his gun in his hand when he
Of
opened the
course.
door.
Of course.
So he fired his gun at the creature, hitting it, yet it bounced away like a kangaroo, covering 75 feet in 3 jumps. That
Holy shit, that's a lot of feet.
Yeah, that's a lot of feats.
That's a lot of feet. A lot of
When
foot.
police arrived, they found scratch marks on the door and dog-like footprints, but with only 3 toes. This might be the chupacabra.
It might be the chupacabra. It kinda sounds like a little bit of everything.
A few days later, 2 young boys reported seeing the same creature near railroad tracks, claiming it tried to grab them. More sightings followed, but just as suddenly as it appeared, the Enfield horror vanished from local lore. Some skeptics suggest it was a misidentified escaped ape
That has 3 legs?
and big pink flashlight eyes.
Yeah.
I don't know that I've seen every species of ape.
Well,
Or
aren't apes known to have, like, longer arms
I
too? Not T-Rex arms.
I believe so, but I'm just saying I have never personally heard of a description of an ape that sounds anything like this.
No. There may be other animals out there, but definitely not an ape.
They also said perhaps it was a kangaroo from a traveling circus, but there were no missing animals reported at the time, and certainly none that matched the creature's glowing eyes and alien gait. Others believe it may have been a cryptid or even extraterrestrial in origin. So
Okay.
I like that the skeptics, and listen, be skeptical, please,
Yeah, please.
please. But I do like that it was either a misidentified escaped ape or just a kangaroo from a traveling circus. I have you ever seen a kangaroo at a circus?
I have not. That is not something that I've also haven't been to that many circuses, but I don't think that's a common thing.
Yeah, I don't think
I would
so.
think more of like a zoo, maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah. I put the image into AI and it's not giving me any it's not working. It's not giving me 3 legs.
No?
No. So it
Fuck you,
makes me
AI.
sad.
No.
Fuck you, AI. Okay, so we have tried and we're gonna keep trying, and if we try and we come up with a successful one, we'll put it on this episode. But if we can't come up with it, then you all need to, and please send it to us. Email
Please.
us at notmyghostpodcast@gmail.com with what you think this creature would look like.
And you never know, it might end up on a sticker.
It might end up on a sticker, y'all, and we promise to spell all the words correct.
Well, at least we'll do our best.
We'll try really, really hard.
Really hard.
Yeah. The next one is the Van Meter Visitor, and this was in Iowa in 1903.
Okay.
So imagine a bat the size of a man with a glowing horn and the power to vanish into thin air. Welcome to Van Meter, Iowa. In late September 1903, residents of Van Meter began witnessing a terrifying flying creature. It was described as bat like, 8 feet tall, with a leathery body, giant wings, and a horn on its head that glowed like a spotlight.
Oh, at first I was thinking it sounded a lot like Mothman until
Yeah, the horn on the head. Yeah.
yeah,
Maybe it's Mothman's cousin.
maybe.
The first witness was a local businessman, U.G. Griffith, who spotted the creature perched atop a building as he approached. It flew off silently and effortlessly, despite its massive size. The next night, Clarence Dunn tried to photograph it and claimed it emitted a suffocating stench before flying away.
It just farted.
Yeah, it just had gas,
Yeah.
guys. Y'all have gas. Y'all have stinky butts sometimes.
Yep.
Just leave the Van Meter, Iowa visitor alone. Residents armed themselves with rifles. Multiple people reported shooting the creature to no effect. The bullets seemed to bounce off his armored skin. Then the beast vanished into an old coal mine on the outskirts of town. The same night, a second creature was seen entering the mine with it. Locals quickly sealed the entrance with rocks and bricks, and the creatures were never seen again.
Hmm.
Some believe the Van Meter visitor was a cryptid, possibly related to Mothman.
Yeah.
Others say it was a supernatural entity or a visitor from another dimension due to its bioluminescence and apparent teleportation. In modern times, the town of Van Meter embraces its mystery with an annual Van Meter Visitor Festival, complete with cryptid merch and paranormal tours.
I'll have to see how far that is in
Yeah.
relation to where my husband is from in Iowa.
Yeah.
Iowa's a big state, so I've not heard of Van Meter, but just because I haven't heard of it doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
It is not real. It's just completely made up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they have the festival just like they do for Mothman in West Virginia.
Exactly.
Yeah. So we're gonna talk about hauntings next.
Mhm.
We're gonna start with the Hex Hollow murder that happened in York County, Pennsylvania in 1928.
Ooh.
When fear and folklore mix, Even the quiet hills of Pennsylvania Dutch country can become the scene of a ritualistic murder. In November 1928, a local farmer named Nelson Remeyer was brutally murdered in his rural farmhouse in what would become known as the Hex Hollow murder. His body was found burned and mutilated. But the cause wasn't robbery or rage. It was a belief in witchcraft.
Always blaming the damn witches.
Always. The killers? John Blymeer and two accomplices. Blymeer was a member of the Pennsylvania Dutch community, where the folk practice of powwow, a blend of faith healing, magic, and prayer, was still common. After suffering a long string of misfortunes, Blymeer became convinced he had been hexed by Remeyer, who was also a known powwow practitioner. Following advice from another powwower, I like that word, by the way, powwower,
How hour?
Blymeer broke into Remeyer's home to find his spell book and lock of hair, which was allegedly needed to break the curse. When Remeyer resisted, they killed him, believing his death would lift the hex. The crime shook the region. The trial became a national sensation with headlines like, "Witchcraft Still Lives in Pennsylvania." Blymeer and the others were convicted, but the lingering question remained. Did they really believe he was a witch, or was that just the defense?
Sounds like they really believed it.
Sounds like they did. Today, Remeyer's Hollow is locally known as Hex Hollow, and many claim the farmhouse is haunted. Visitors report strange lights, eerie sensations, and whispers in the dark woods.
So what I want to know, and I know we don't know this because these are just our little summaries of these events, and if you like any of them, let us know and maybe we'll do a full-blown episode.
Yeah.
But what I want to know is, what did Blymeer do to Remeyer to make him think he had a hex on him?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Probably had to be a dick.
I guess, because he said he just had misfortunes and then he just decided this guy was
So he was probably a dick to this guy
right.
and then just assumed that this guy hexed him because he was a dick.
Probably.
Well, the next one is the ghost blimp.
I like this.
Me too. And this happened in San Francisco Bay in 1942. During World War II, a U.S. Navy blimp floated silently into Daly City with all its gear intact, but no one aboard.
Hmm.
On August 16, 1942, the L-8, a Navy blimp assigned to patrol for enemy submarines off the California coast, lifted off from Treasure Island with two experienced men on board, Lieutenant Ernest DeWitt Cody and Ensign Charles Adams. Everything seemed normal for the first hour. The crew radioed that they were investigating an oil slick near the Farallone Islands, possibly evidence of a Japanese sub. Then, radio silence. The blimp was next spotted several hours later, hovering aimlessly over the Bay Area. It eventually crashed into Daly City, lightly damaging some cars and roofs. But what authorities found inside was chilling. The cabin door was open, the life raft and parachutes were still there. Radio and controls were functional, but both men were gone. There were no signs of struggle, no SOS, and no bodies ever recovered. Some theorized they'd fallen out, but strict Navy protocol meant that they should have been tethered in at all times. Others whisper about a mid-air abduction, a secret mission, or a paranormal disappearance. The Navy investigated extensively, but never found a satisfying explanation that they released to the public. The L-8 was repaired and put back into service, but crew members refused to fly it, calling it the ghost blimp.
Had they considered that after the crash, the two men just ran away? Like maybe they survived it and just fled?
I don't know, maybe. We'd have to I definitely wanna do a full episode on this
Yeah.
because I'd like this and find out more. Like, when it crashed, were people, like, immediately there? Like, it sounded like it crashed in the middle of a city, so
Yeah.
it wasn't like it crashed in the middle of the woods and people coulda left.
People minded their own business back then too.
That's also true, there weren't, like, cell phones recording everything.
Right.
So I don't know. Yeah, I definitely wanna do a full episode on this eventually.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I like it.
Now we're going into cursed objects.
Cursed objects. I would never own anything that might be haunted.
I definitely wouldn't.
No, never.
Mm-mm.
That's silly.
Okay, so we're going to talk about the Ring of Svalness from England in the 4th century. Buried for centuries, the simple Roman ring is tied to theft, revenge, and one of the most famous fantasy epics of all time. Discovered in a field in Hampshire, England in the 18th century, the Ring of Svalness is a large, inscribed Roman gold ring dated to the 4th century. It bears the name Sinasana, the man believed to have stolen it from his rightful owner, Svalnus. Here's where it gets eerie. A lead curse tablet was also discovered at the temple dedicated to the god Naldens in nearby Gloucestershire. It read, "To the god Naldens, Sylvanus has lost his ring. May he who bears the name of Sinasana not enjoy health until he brings the ring back to the temple of Naldens." Some call it the earliest known literary curse in Britain. Centuries later, the ring ended up in the Library of the Vine estate in Hampshire. It was studied by archaeologists, and one of them consulted with none other than J.R.R. Tolkien,
Ooh.
who was then professor of an Anglo-Saxon at Oxford. Many believe the cursed ring, the idea of a lingering hex, and the connection to an ancient inscription helped inspire Tolkien's concept of the One Ring in Lord of the Rings. The ring is now on display at the Vine, and some visitors claim it gives off a strange energy, with staff reporting bad luck, headaches, and a sense of unease when near it. I'm gonna have to share that with my daughter, Katie, because she loves Lord of the Rings.
I do too. I find that fascinating that there could been something like that that sparked that.
Yeah.
I'd like to dig deeper into it. Well, next we have the cursed phone number. What if your phone number wasn't just unlucky, but lethal? In Bulgaria, there's a number that gained a chilling reputation: 359 888 888 888. Every person who has reportedly been assigned this number has died under mysterious or violent circumstances. The first was Vladimir Goshnov, the CEO of the mobile phone company Mobitel, which originally issued the number. In 2001, he died of a very sudden and aggressive form of cancer at just 48 years old. He was healthy and successful until he wasn't. Next came Konstantin Dimitrov, a Bulgarian mob boss who took over the number. He was gunned down by an assassin in the Netherlands in 2003 while holding the phone in question.
Okay. He was a
He was
mob
a mob
boss.
boss. Yeah,
Like, getting
that's true.
gunned down is not. Also, the other guy got cancer, and that happens all the time.
It does. Finally, the number was linked to Konstantin Dishlev, another controversial businessman with rumored ties to organized crime. He was shot dead outside a restaurant in Sofia in 2005, once again while actively using the cursed number. After that, Mobitel permanently deactivated the number, and if you try to call it today, you'll hear that it's outside service.
All right. I don't
It's
know.
just strange within a very short period of time, a handful of years, 5 years, that 3 people that had this phone number died.
If 2 of them weren't involved in organized crime, I would say that you had a point.
Okay,
But people involved in organized crime are at a much higher chance.
that's true, but why did this number go to 2 people involved in organized crime?
Do you think the universe is trying to take them out?
Maybe with the cursed phone number.
Maybe, I guess.
So it's therefore still weird and paranormal.
Anything's possible.
Uh-huh.
Next, we're getting into time slips and dimensional weirdness.
My favorite.
So, what if your passport said you were from a country no one had ever heard of?
That would be weird.
It would be. In July 1954, a well dressed man arrived at Haneda Airport in Tokyo. He presented a passport stamped with past travel records and customs documentation. Everything looked normal except for one thing. His passport said he was from Tarid. When officials asked where that was, the man grew frustrated and pointed to a map, right at the region known as Andorra, between France and Spain. But he insisted Tarid has existed for over 1,000 years. His passport, currency, and business documents were all professionally produced. Some even bore official stamps, just from a country that doesn't exist in our reality. Suspicious, but not yet alarmed, authorities placed him in a secure hotel room under guard while they investigated. The next morning, he had vanished.
Weird.
The room was locked from the outside, the window sealed, and no trace of him, his belongings, were ever found. Some say it's a hoax or a mix up, but others believe the man from Tarid slipped between dimensions, a traveler from a parallel Earth who accidentally crossed over and then corrected course.
And with him, he brought a T-shirt that said, "Not my ghost, not my problem."
He did.
Absolutely. That's where it came from. Mystery solved. Damn man from Tarid. Well, my time slip is known as the Bold Street time slips in Liverpool, England. Have you ever walked into a store and walked out 40 years in the past? No, I can't say that I
Nope.
have. Bold Street, a busy shopping district in Liverpool, has become infamous for alleged time slips, moments when ordinary people suddenly find themselves in the past. One of the most famous cases occurred in the 1990s when a man named Frank, a retired police officer, was headed to Waterstone's bookstore. As he stepped onto the street, the world around him shifted. He found himself surrounded by 1950s cars and people in vintage clothing and an old store called Crips, where Waterstones used to be. Even more bizarre, he entered the shop, browsed, and spoke to a clerk before everything snapped back to normal. Dozens of similar stories have emerged. A woman in 2006 claimed that she walked into a store and found herself in a 1950s clothing boutique. A couple in 2011 described walking past a man in an outdated police uniform who then vanished before their eyes. Some even say they've been followed by phantom figures when they step out of time. Skeptics blame memory glitches, hypnosis, or false memories. Others believe Bold Street sits on a time vortex, a thin spot where dimensions briefly overlap. Whatever the cause, one thing is clear: something strange is happening in Liverpool.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah, I kind of want to go and see if I can experience a time slip.
I read a Stephen King book where a guy goes, I think it was like a diner, and like in the back of the diner was I don't know, like a vortex into the 1950s.
Oh,
And every time like, he could go in there and spend 3 years there and then come back out, but when he went back through it, it was still 19, like, 50 something.
okay.
And then his mission was to try to stop the Kennedy assassination.
Oh,
It was a really good book. It's a long book, but it's really good.
yeah.
Okay. Possessions.
Yeah.
Ooh, spooky.
Spooky.
Spooky possessions.
Spooky, spooky, spooky.
We're going to talk about the Black Monk of Pontefract, one of the most violent and chilling hauntings in Europe. And few outside the UK have heard the full story.
I have not.
In a quiet English town at 30 East Drive, the Pritchard family moved into a modest house in the late 1960s, only to be met with relentless paranormal terror.
Sounds scary.
Does. It began with small disturbances, green foam oozing from the faucets. That's just gross.
I don't think that's very small. I would be calling a plumber for that.
Yeah,
That's
seriously. Lights flickering.
can I call an electrician
Yeah.
too?
Cold gusts of wind blowing through sealed rooms. HVAC.
Call whoever reseals your doors and windows.
Yeah. But it escalated fast.
Oh, okay.
The entity dubbed the Black Monk targeted the family's teenage daughter, Diane. She was reportedly dragged up the stairs by her hair,
Oh no.
slapped, and levitated in front of witnesses.
Okay, I don't think that's plumbing or
No.
insulation or
Mm-mm.
an electrical problem.
No, I don't think so either.
Mm.
Objects flew across the room. Crucifixes were torn from the walls. The figure was described as a tall shadow in a black cloak, face obscured, sometimes seen hovering near beds. That,
No, thank you.
yeah, they can't come in your bedroom, Jen.
No, they're not allowed.
A local historian later uncovered that a Cluniac monk had been executed near the site in the 16th century for the rape and murder of a young girl,
Hmm.
eerily matching the age of Diane.
Hmm.
Despite multiple exorcisms, the activity never fully stopped. The house remains infamous and is now available for overnight paranormal investigations, many of which report aggressive phenomena
Phenomena.
still occurring today. That's
Do you
scary.
do you wanna go?
Yeah, I do.
I kinda wanna go.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, come on, guys. I'd be terrified, but I kinda wanna go.
I don't know that I'd be terrified at first. I'd have to see stuff.
I think I would just psych myself out from all the bad, evil shit that they
Yeah.
said happened.
Unless I got a sense of something, which has
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah, that does happen.
Yeah.
If we went all the way to Yorkshire, England,
Yeah, we're staying. We're staying there.
no bad sense is keeping you out of that house, okay?
I know. I know.
Okay. That'd be an expensive trip. We're staying overnight.
Yeah. And then coming home the next day.
Yeah, and staging immediately. Next, we have the Wasika Wonder, and this is in Illinois in 1877. What if your child didn't need an exorcist, but a family reunion?
Okay.
In the rural town of Watseka, Illinois, a 13-year-old girl named Lurancy Venom began experiencing sudden trances, seizures, and terrifying visions in 1877. Her family feared demonic possession or madness. But during one extended trance, Lurancy claimed that she was no longer herself, that she was Mary Roth, a girl from the same town who had died over a decade earlier from mental illness. What happened next was unprecedented. The Roth family was contacted, and Lurancy instantly recognized them. She embraced Mary's parents, referred to them by pet names only Mary would have known, and recounted private family memories, including details of a hidden diary. Even stranger, she moved in with the Roths for several months, living as Mary. She laughed, cried, and spoke with old friends. Her behavior matched Mary's habits and even handwriting. Local doctors, spiritualists, and neighbors confirmed the bizarre transformation. Eventually, the spirit said it was time to go. Lurancy returned to her body and reportedly lived a healthy, quiet life thereafter. She remembers the events, but as though as she was watching them from far away. Many consider this case one of the first documented instances of spirit possession or walk in phenomena
Phenomena.
do, 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 in the US, and it remains a staple in parapsychology research.
That has to be the politest possession.
Right?
Yeah. I would
And the
be
fact,
afraid because it said that Mary died of mental illness. I don't know what
yeah,
that means
yeah,
unless they're saying she took herself out.
yeah.
But I would be afraid that Mary and my child would die from whatever.
Yeah, I feel like if that ha if I and I'm not a parent, so I can only surmise, but I feel like if that happened to me, I don't know if I would let the child move in with
Oh,
the other
absolutely not.
like
No.
visit and talk to, completely supervised, but
Yeah,
to just completely, your child just leaves you for several months
that's not
because she's
happening.
possessed by a ghost, like, what?
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, that brings us to the end of this episode about the bizarre, lesser known paranormal tales. The kind of stories that hide in the shadowy corners of history, folklore, and maybe even your hometown. If one of these cases stuck with you, let us know. We'd love to hear what intrigued you most. And if enough ghosties are curious, we might just turn your favorite bite sized mystery into a full length deep dive.
If you loved what you heard, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe to our podcast wherever you listen. Your support helps us reach more listeners and share even more spooky stories.
And don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Not My Ghost Podcast and on Facebook at Not My Ghost, Not My Problem. We post pictures every week on our episodes and some other updates and some other fun things when we are together.
If you want even more ghostly content, consider joining our Patreon at patreon.com/notmyghost, notmyproblem. We have some fantastic exclusive perks for our supporters. And if you've ever had a spine-tingling paranormal encounter, share your story with us at notmyghostpodcast@gmail.com. And you will hear it featured on a future episode, Katie.
Katie, thank you for joining us on this curious exploration of the weirdest corners of the paranormal world. Remember, as you wander through the cracks between timelines, haunted objects, and forgotten files, keep this in mind.
If it's not your ghost,
It's not your problem.
until next time, stay spooky.
And stay skeptical.